So here I'll be showing a demo. Like this is the hacker dashboard we have built for people to build on PowerLoom. Although the network is open source, like we had to open up some of our nodes, so we had to put in some API rate limits just temporarily. So in this demo, I'll be showing how to sign up, use the API keys, and all of that. So this currently uses Magic Link. So the sign up process is very easy. You just verify your email, and that is it. So once you enter this, you just go back to your tab. And here you should see your profile details, your rate limits and everything. And this is your API key which you can use for like if you need faster rate limits or anything. And if you are a snapshotter and you need to run a snapshotter node, then you will need to register your wallet, which is as simple as just submitting this submit button here. That is it. It registers your snapshotter in our contracts as well. And that should be good enough. So once you have all this set up, you just need to refresh the page once and it'll show you your wallet address. Like it has successfully registered in against our smart contracts, just like this. And then you feel free to run your own node. Next, let's just go over the process of actually deploying a snapshotter node, which is relatively easy. Let me just... Okay, where is this?
Yeah, all right. While you go in there, this is essentially something that we've opened up to you, the participants of ETHIndia, as a network that you can join, start running your own data sources, and they're not restricted by any consensus mechanisms.
Yeah, so this is just an example. So we have this PowerLoom/deploy, which is our current deploy repo. So all you need to do is you just need to clone this repo. The instructions are right here. So any server or like even Google code space, GitHub code space should be good enough. So you just need to clone the repo. As you can see, you just clone this. Now there is this env.example file, which has these bunch of like configuration variables. So if you take a look at this, the first one is the source URL, which will be your RPC. And then the second one is the signer address, which you just registered on our hacker platform. And the signer private key. And the next bit, this is the important bit, right? So like the snapshotter node is designed for people to swap in and out like computation modules. So you can build your own use cases really easily. All you need to do is like just set these configuration parameters, which is basically the GitHub repo link and the branch name. So you can just fork our default branches just like this. So this is I'm just forking the snapshotter computes in my own personal profile. And the same thing you will need to do for the config branch as well.
Do check out the documentation on the snapshotter architecture.
Yeah.
It shows you how it's decoupled. So essentially, we want people to start using the data first. I mean, the other market dynamics will come in later, whatever people want to decide in terms of what is, attractive in terms of contributing to snapshots. But at the moment, what we have here is no restricted, no rules barred, all configurations given to you as part of what protocol you're going to participate in, what is your signer account address, which is what you have signed up for, by the way, on the dashboard, just to remind you.
And this is like, you can see the config repo. This is currently my own repo, right? And yeah, that is it. So once this is done, let's move on to the next steps, which is basically running this bootstrap.sh, which basically clones all of these repos in your local folder. So that it makes it really easy to configure and run this entire setup. So let's just run this. So yeah, if you look at this just cloned Pooler, all of your configured snapshotter compute modules as well as the config files, and everything is ready to go. And if you just go to Pooler/config, let's just see the remote, like from where it is cloned, right? Which branch it is currently on. So if you take a look at the bottom of the screen. So as you can see right now, it's using my fork branch instead of the default Pooler one. Yeah, that is it. So now we have everything ready. Now the final step is you just run this entire setup using build dev sh in a screen session, and that will start up the entire snapshotter node.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's just see. So you just need to run build-dev.sh. And it pulls a lot of these Docker containers, build all the like needed infrastructure and everything. It sets up everything up. Let's just speed this up a bit. So it's just building things.
So it has a bunch of moving components. We have essentially done the bootstrapping, what you noticed, so you don't have to sit and tinker with the internals. It is just launching your own self-contained node on the network with its own custom data sources, which on top of you can write your own snapshot logic, right? So that's the part we'll take a look at.
Yeah. So right now the building process is almost done. So yeah. So yeah, all layers exported. It just started everything. So yeah. So a lot of logs are there, I understand, but yeah. So if you go again to the README file, it exactly shows you like this bit, right? This will show you the state of the system, if everything is active or not. So using just Docker PS, if you just do that here, you will be able to see like what are the containers running. You'll be able to go inside the containers, access APIs, which ports are exposed. Everything is shown right here. And the final step that I want to show is how to access this core API. Core API is basically like a set of utilities which enable easy access to this data that the snapshot node is generating, right? So all you need to do is just if you have not configured any URL, you just tunnel to that instance, and that way you will be able to access the core API in your local machine only. So all you need to do is, if you just go to localhost :8002, yeah, it will show you the exact core APIs. Like we have a nice Swagger interface for you to see as well. So like, and you will be able to access any core API very easily. Next, Anomit will explain the protocol state and the details. What are the project ideas, tracks, and what to build on? Yeah, Anomit.
All right. So first of all, your glitchy thing, I have to figure out how to move to the next. Yeah. All right. So I know that was quite a bit of concepts, right? And also because of lack of feedback, I'm not sure where you might be having a little bit of doubts and clarifications you require. But yeah, in short, what he showed you was like a quick introduction to what the protocol is like and how do you join it. Let me kind of ease a little bit further into it by using one of our existing APIs. So like I said, you could either join the network or you could use you could either join the network or you could use one of our pre-existing APIs. So this is the one example I'll show you. It's from our docs, and we have had this recorded so that we knew this kind of glitches come up, so didn't want to run into that. So let me maximize balls. Okay. Yeah, this should be good. All right. Love to have seen that. All right. So what you see over here is like some of the project ideas we hope people would build on. So one of the things we have is already implemented as a Uniswap V2 dashboard, but how can you build further on top of it is it might help you to kind of get a quicker look at what's the data market like, what we mean by data market, and what are these different smart contracts. Essentially, this is what you want to build, right? What smart contracts you want to serve data on top of. What is your definite use case? So this is exploring the Uniswap V2 dashboard. We have broken down in detail. This is the data sources. Akshay has linked them from the ideas Notion document page. So definitely go through that. That's an exhaustive list. A project ID is nothing but think of it like a stream of data coming for per contract that is noted in the projects list over there, right? So once you're kind of clear on that aspect, that what a project ID refers to, it's like a stream of data source, that is where you can really start playing around with further use cases, like more flexible ones where we are kind of serving something for a Quest dashboard on this partner called Merkle like with a C, not K. So over there, they follow the same project IDs, they capture our data feeds, then they use that as a user completing different quests like, asset bridging, then supplying liquidity to certain dexes, and they are going through certain social quests, right? So that's like an exhaustive list of data sources, but here is where the things get interesting. You start seeing things like aggregates, right? What do they mean? So aggregates is essentially like, if you think of like data composability, you can sum together a lot of data sets and it becomes an aggregate. We have some Pooler API docs for you to start playing around with the same project IDs that I noted over there. Epoch is essentially what determines all the data sets on PowerLoom protocol, right? An epoch is comprised of a certain begin to end chain height range, and you can take any of these project IDs and start querying further information relative to certain epochs right from that Pooler API. So I'm just taking the most lightest data set. It's called the aggregate 24 hours stats light. What you'll see is that I've taken the current epoch, right? So the aggregate, like I mentioned, it does that over a bunch of different base level snapshots, right? So while it is building, I'm trying to show you that this is definitely happening in the moment, and at that point of time it got completed, and this is the final aggregate snapshot that got computed, right? So this is me still giving you that data set which you see on top of that dashboard, right? And as you can imagine now, there are so many different data points of further subsets of the aggregation and also super aggregations that you see what comes as part of building out a dashboard, right? The last bit would be, how do you make a better dashboard, right? How about that? So let's kind of see that. This is so confusing. All right, yeah. So kind of coming back to that, how do you make a better dashboard out of all this information? You saw project IDs, you saw what an epoch is, you saw what is the final data set for that epoch, but how do you use it to make a quick, nice visualization like that, right? So I'm taking this one data stream called trade volume across that contract over there. Yeah, there. And I'm doing an API request which gives me back something called a finalized content identifier for that, right? So essentially what I do is, if I just let me move ahead a bit, this is a redundant part here. Okay, yeah, this is me kind of showing you that that's the entire data set present within that trade volume snapshot for that epoch, right? If you see, there are a bunch of event logs that are captured with the event data, etc. Also, do check what I'm also checking, that I have a direct access to the data set itself. You do not need to even rely so much on PowerLoom protocol. You can go query it from any IPFS gateway. You get this entire data set. I hope you can start connecting the dots in your mind, how you can kind of drill down into these data sets, show very specific event logs, build nice graphs, build nice plots, things that kind of make for a much richer data experience, right? So they are things that we are definitely looking forward to for some hackers to kind of build on, start using all that data that we have, go deep into the deploy setup that we have for you. If you really want to know where these data sets are coming from, who is building out a consensus for this, you can use our ABIs that are already included over there. Interact with that. The RPC is already provided, how to interact with the PowerLoom chain. And you can even build a dashboard of what your fellow hackers are submitting for the PowerLoom protocol, right? So it's like a meta of a meta, if you could think of it that way, right? So things get really interesting with data if we kind of start looking really, really deep into it. How much meaning comes out of data is what you wish to do with it, and that's where we try to stay true to the principles of composability. That's what I also try to showcase over here, what an epoch is, how do you center all your calculations around it. I hope that kind of helps you get a quick overview. Other than that, of course, you have the docs and you have us if you have any questions, right? So apart from that, I hope this gives you a quick insight into building some data-rich applications that might help you going ahead, right? So cool. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for your attention. I hope to see you on the booth and maybe on the Discord channels if you have further questions. Thanks.